Have you ever heard of a new model of something getting a lower model number and fewer features? Stick around and we'll take a look at the new 4K HandyCam from Sony. Welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews on video and photography tools and accessories, some ham radio topics, and other cool toys that catch my attention. I hope you'll consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Recently, my trusty Sony AX43 4K HandyCam became not so trusty when the playback function failed. That complicated some of the back-end housekeeping aspects of file management, such as deleting files from the camera. It still records, but it's a bit more challenging working around that failure. With repair estimates in the $350 to $400 range, I faced the decision we all do in this situation. Do I repair an old electronic device or replace it? Since I've had the camera for 4 years and the technology is about 5 years old, and since I tend to use it quite often, a replacement seemed the better choice. Now, I've been happy with Sony HandyCam, so that's where I started. What I discovered was a newly released version in the AX53 model line with a couple of feature subtractions that sold for between $100 and $150 less than my older AX53. This latest Sony HandyCam is called the FDR AX43, and like the AX53, it's a 4K camera with nearly all the same features as the AX53. After a comparison, I found that most of the omitted functions were ones I hardly or ever used on my AX53, so the reduced price tipped the scales for me. Let's take a look at the big differences between the two models. To start with, just about everything is the same. If you're familiar with the AX53, then the AX43 will be like an old friend. For those who aren't familiar with the AX53, we'll call out some cool features and functions the two share as we go along. But first, the differences. The first thing you'll notice is that the AX43 doesn't have the electronic viewfinder or the EVF. When I got my AX53, that was a must-have. Unfortunately, it didn't provide the quality I really needed to keep up with the flying model aircraft I often record. Ultimately, I almost never used it. The next thing you'll notice is the manual button and the adjustment ring on the AX53 is missing on the AX43. This function was a way to claim more professional feature set for those who like to adjust various camera settings. Unfortunately, many found it was a bit of a bait and switch function since the AX53 was designed for consumers, as is the AX43. You could only adjust one function at a time, and when you changed the selected parameter, the previously selected parameters defaulted back to the auto mode. Because the auto functions that control the camera parameters are very good, I again found myself ignoring those limited manual controls. Now, I don't mean to leave you with the impression that you can't control the various camera parameters such as focus, shutter speed, exposure, and the like. You can. It's just that these parameters are accessed via the main settings menu on the AX43. Another really cool feature on the AX53 that I literally never used was night shot. As you might guess, it's missing on the AX43. If shooting at night is something you need to do, go with the AX53. The last of the more noticeable omissions is the screen resolution on the flip-out screen. The AX53 has over 900,000 dots, while the AX43 has a bit over 450,000 dots. On a small 3-inch diagonal screen, you likely won't notice the difference. So how about the big similarities? Well, glad you asked. The first one I'll mention is the BOSS or BOSS system. Both the AX53 and the AX43 include this. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically a 3-axis gimbal built into the camera body. This system, along with the electronic image stabilization in some resolutions, help you produce very smooth video shots. This saves you the expense of buying a separate gimbal for basic image stabilization. Also related to the heart of the camera, the lenses and image processors are the same. The marketing angle for the AX43 focuses on vloggers or video bloggers. The result is the BOSS terminology has been replaced by the word gimbal, and the articulating screen is now referred to as a flip-out screen. Both are terms vloggers will find familiar. There are 10 different video resolutions and frame rate combinations, just like the AX53. These include 4K at 24 and 30 frames per second, and a variety of full HD frame rate choices up to 60 frames per second. It also includes a high-speed recording mode selectable from the main menu. In that mode, you can record 120 frames per second for some dramatic slow-motion shots. Again, like the AX53, the AX43 has both mini USB and micro HDMI outputs. So, enough chatting. Let's take a closer look at the Sony FDR AX43. Okay, so here is the box that the AX43 comes in. It's just the usual Sony box. Looks pretty much like the one the AX53 came in. But of course, what's inside is what we're looking for. So let's take a peek. So we open the top of the box up. We've got some paperwork, warranty, some other advertising information, contest form of some kind there, and then information about running the camera or the instructions in a couple of different languages here. So that's what we've got on top. Now I've taken some of the plastic wrappers off the stuff inside to make this go a little quicker, so we'll take a look at that. We've got cables over here, we've got a battery over here, and of course the camera. So let's get this stuff out of the box and take a closer look. Okay, so the first thing we've got are the charging cords. This little cord plugs into the camera over on the lower right side of the camera. I'll show you that in a moment. And then the transformer block here. And then this cord plugs into the transformer and into your 110 volt or 120 volt outlet. So we've got a good charger that comes with it. We also have the battery that comes with it. This is a Sony branded battery. It's an NPF V70 type battery. This is a mini HDMI cable. You can see it's got an HDMI A up on this end and then the mini on this end. So you can plug this into the camera and then you can plug this into your monitor or television if you're going to put the camera in playback mode to show what you have. And this is a USB cable, and this is a micro USB cable, a USB-A on this end, micro on this end, and this cable will be used to connect to your computer and then use the Sony Play app if you choose to make use of that free app, and it allows you to download the videos and do some other management kinds of things through the application there on your desktop. And so, of course, the major thing that we're going to look at is the camera itself. And you can see the big differences here on the outside. You know, the manual button is missing here. There's no ring here on the 43 as opposed to the AX53. The battery goes in here as it did before, but you'll also notice the assembly for the electronic viewfinder is missing at this end. And so that's pretty much the outside. On this side here, we've got a door that slides open. It's where you plug in the USB cable over here, and if you want to use an external microphone, you plug that in over here. And then down here, kind of underneath the strap, a little secret door that you can open up under there, and that is where you could plug some headphones in if you wanted to monitor the recording of the audio that you are working with if you're using an external microphone. On the top of the camera, we've got this nice microphone, and for a camera-mounted microphone, this one's pretty good. You may choose to use an external microphone to limit the direction in which this picks up sound. This is a omnidirectional microphone, but you'll see in the videos that we take, it is a very good microphone, especially, as I say, for a camera-mounted microphone. Now, up here on the back is the wide and tight, or the zoom button, as it's commonly known. These things you can control, and with a little bit of practice, you can get some pretty slow, smooth zooms. Or you can zoom quickly by just pushing it from one side to the other. And then last but not least, up here in the back side anyway, is the photo button. So if you were in the camera mode, or if you were in the right resolution that allows the taking of a photo while videoing, you can press the photo button to take a photograph. Now under here is another little door, and we'll open that up. And so this door has the Sony hot shoe mount in it, and this is the the various connectors up under here. So if you buy a Sony branded microphone, you can get that in there. It'll make all the proper connections for you to use an external microphone, and some of the other Sony branded mountable electronics here on this. Otherwise, if you're using a non-Sony microphone, you just use this as a cold shoe type mount and then plug in over here as I just showed you. The door is pretty good. It's on there with a couple of little rockers and springs, but be careful with it because it would be easy to knock off if you weren't paying attention. On this side of the camera, we have the flip out screen, and so it comes out and then it is articulating, so you can rotate it. And so if you're using it for vlogging, or if you're using it to shoot video of yourself in a demonstration mode, you can put the screen facing towards you so you can see what the camera sees to make those fine adjustments. Here is the door that accesses the HDMI. So if you want to use a field monitor, or if you want to use the camera in playback mode, you can output to an HDMI device. Behind this door is the slot for the SD card. The SD card goes right in there, and then the door flips over. Here we've got a couple of buttons. This one will take you into the gallery mode, which is pretty handy. The on and off button here turns the camera on and off. Now normally that's done with the opening of the door, but if you're going to leave the door open, you've got everything set up, maybe sitting on a tripod, you can turn the camera off here to save wear and tear on the camera. And then this last button here with the little director's slate icon on it is for automatically creating highlight movies. The camera's got some internal software that'll allow you to put together some clips into a highlight movie automatically, and that's what that button is. So that's pretty much what the camera looks like as we take it out of the box. I'm going to charge up the battery, do some of the things like getting the SD card in it and setting the time and the date and that kind of thing, and then we'll take a quick look at the menus. So let's take a look at the menu system. When you first turn the camera on, you're going to get some housekeeping tasks to do. You can set the date and the time, set the time zone, those kind of things. It'll guide you through it. So now let's take a look at the menu screens that you'll be working with. First, let's look at the shooting mode. The shooting mode has a number of things that are going to be available to you when the camera is set to the proper resolution. So in the movie mode, we go into movie. That's just regular kind of shooting. It'll take you right back then to the display through the lens. Photo mode. Again, you're going to see the icon for the camera, and you'll use the photo button that I pointed out to you a moment ago. The image quality and size is going to give you the choice, and so in this case we're in photo mode, and so it's going to give you the choices that you can make for your photographs, and so 16.6 all the way down to 2.1 in the various ratios. In this case 16:9, and then over here 4:3. Let's go back to our movie mode and then go over here to the camera and mic, and this will give us a different set of choices because now we're in movie mode. And so you can see I've got white balance, spot meter focus, sport meter, all of these things set to auto, which is what we're going to do our testing in. We've got white balance shift. We can pick a low lux or a low light mode, various picture effects, cinema tones, faders between the shots, the steady shot, which is the boss system, the gimbal built into the camera, and then we can use digital zoom if we want to add to the optical zoom. And so digital zoom is not something I normally use. It comes off, and I'm going to leave it off right now. So those are some of the things in the various camera settings. To make changes to some of these, let's take a look at one of the things that you probably be familiar with. So for example, the iris, and that's the f-stop, if you will. You can make a manual selection there, and then you can change it here. You can see it right down here. It's coming up at f2.0. You can make it go up. You can make it go down if you want to have a little bit more control over that aspect of your camera. We're going to leave it on auto. Now we're back in the shooting mode, and there are a couple of things I want to point out to you. In the lower quality HD, that AVHC type file format, there are a couple of things here that are available to you, and there you see that they're lit now, and that is a slow motion kind of mode, and it gives you some instructions there. And then also, when we go back to this shooting mode, it gives you a golf shot. And so if you were to set up on a tripod, you could give yourself some video of your golf shot to help you take off some strokes off your game. And then this one was lit before. That's the high-speed record, and that's not available in this low setting, but it is available. Let me show you. And so that high-speed record is available to you, the high-quality HD resolution there in that menu, and then these are no longer available to you. So these are going to light up depending upon the resolution that you have chosen. The image size and quality menu is right here. Here you can change your frame rate, the file format. In this case, I've got it set for HD at 60p. The image size is medium at 6.9 for photography. And so those are the choices that I can make here. These will change a little bit if you go in, for example, for file format. I can go up to my 4K setting, and then I can go to an HD quality, but an older codec, the AVC HD file format. So I'm going to leave it here at this HD. Gives me a little warning that says I'm not going to be able to do my dual recording, which I'm not going to do anyway. So I'm going to go back. So again, go into my menu. I can go into my wireless menu. This gives me an opportunity to do some multi-camera control. You can read about that in the directions. And one that I do use quite a bit is control with a smartphone. I use my smartphone to start and stop the shutter and zoom when I'm recording myself without a helper. and I use the Android app from Sony to make that happen. So when you touch the control with smartphone menu item, it'll go into Wi-Fi, and then it'll give you this QR code that you can scan with the app on the phone, and it'll make the connection to the Sony camera. And again, this is just like the AX43. Okay, so we're back here. Now let's take a look at playback function. In this particular screen, if I had done some recording, and if there were recordings here on the SD card, they would show up as little thumbnails right here with dates under them, and then I could just select the one that I wanted to play. So it's the playback mode. You can also delete in this function. So if you have one of the images or one of the videos called up, there's a little garbage can in there that you can press, and then you can delete that image, or you can go into a view that shows all of the thumbnails for all of the images, and you can select the ones you want to delete to get them off that SD card. When you're done, you go back to menu, or you can use this little icon down there to move back to your shooting mode. In the Edit Copy menu, again, you're able to delete or protect various videos that are stored on your memory card, or you can do this highlight movie thing. So that's in the Edit Copy mode of your menu. And then General Setup is just what you'd expect. Various media settings, the format, the SD card. You can initiate a repair to your database file on your SD card if you are starting to get some funky results in that. That would be the first place to start. You can specify the file numbering process that you want to use, and then a variety of other things that are available here on this menu. And then as you can see, all the menus work the same. They just use a touch. I'm using a little stylus, but your finger works here just as well. So that's the menus that you've got, and it gives you quite a bit of control here in this AX43. Now let's take a look at some video clips from the AX43. I'll be shooting in full HD and not 4K, as many won't have 4K monitors. I'll shoot some 4K video and do a separate video in 4K to accompany this review. I'll link it in the end card. So in this recording, I'm just trying to walk smoothly, not doing a ninja walk or anything like that, but walking down the path behind my house in an open area. I'm speaking to the camera from behind. Got a couple little dogs beside me who wish I weren't here. It's a little after 6 a.m. It's going to be a hot day in Phoenix, so we've got an early start. Here's a little park in my neighborhood. It's about 6:30 in the morning. It's cloudy. A little bit of rain spitting down on us. Give you an idea of, pan shot with the stabilizer on. Here's a quick demonstration of the zoom. This is the optical zoom only. I've got the digital zoom off. Again, I'm speaking from behind the camera. And there's some folks with their dogs out here in the park. So we'll just kind of zoom in. Here I am in the selfie mode. I'm holding the camera at arm's length out in front of me, and I can see that the little gimbal is moving as I look at the camera lens here. The camera is not too heavy, and if I had a camera mount or a stick to screw into the bottom quarter 20, it would be pretty comfortable to handle around. So you can get a chance to see the the image and what I sound like when I'm talking to the camera from in front of the camera. As you saw in the video samples, the video recordings were very good. Despite a cloudy early morning, the video was clear and the BOSS stabilization system added smoothness to the shots. The ability to find and focus on a face makes using the AX43 in selfie mode a good choice for vloggers and those narrating travel or event videos. Hey, thanks for staying with me. Let's close this out by chatting a bit about why you might want this model instead of the AX53 or other HandyCam, or instead of a small mirrorless camera. First is cost. Getting the camera is a big expense, but depending upon where you are in your journey in videography, you may need a fair amount of support gear. That gear includes a bag or backpack, it includes memory cards, and if you plan to do a lot of outdoor shooting, it probably means some lens covers or filters, such as a UV filter for scratch and UV protection, or it may mean a set of neutral density filters to block some of the light on those really bright days to keep the automatic functions of the camera from driving up the ISO and shutter speed variables to deal with the brightness. All those things cost money, and while some vendors include some of them in combo packs, those combos usually add to the cost of the camera alone, but can still be an economical choice. As for mirrorless cameras, if vlogging is your primary thing, they're appealing due to their small form factor and ability to change out the lenses. However, all that comes with a price. A nice Sony mirrorless camera can easily set you back over $1,200. If you think your video shooting might be more family or travel related, having a dedicated camera can be a valuable addition to your camera collection. HandyCams generally don't have the file size limits you'll find on mirrorless cameras. You can turn it on and it'll record until you run out of media memory or battery power. So, if recording the kids' soccer or Little League game is important, a camcorder is probably a better choice. I've taken my HandyCams to Germany and Israel, as well as all over the United States, and found them easy to hold in my hands or keep in a pocket, and the recordings were stunning. Next is features. As I discovered with my AX53, there were features I paid for on the AX53 that I just never needed or used. After reviewing the differences between the two cameras in some detail, the AX43 has more than enough capability for a family shooter, a skilled enthusiast-level videographer, or even a pro who needs some B-roll or needs to cover a quick fill-in shot. All in all, I can enthusiastically recommend the FDR AX43 HandyCam. Having a dedicated video camera in a small form factor is a great way to document your activities, travels, or your blog. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please click on the thumbs up button below and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Likes and subscriptions are important to small channels like this one, and I really appreciate it. Click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching.